today. No pomp and circumstance today. Right. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, we're just going to have to go with that for now. All right, Pedro. Hey. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to DYOR Live. Coming to you from the great driver's seat of the Ford Explorer Sport Track here, otherwise known as the mobile headquarters of DYOR Live. While Pedro's holding down the fort in the East Coast headquarters of DYOR Media. Welcome to the show today. It's October 22nd, 2025. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking. The man in the box above me today, Mr. Pedro Garcia. Pedro, what's happening? What's happening with you? What's happening with the markets today?
Everything is great. The market sold off on the area that I assumed I was going to. I didn't know how far it was going to go down, but I know it's going to go up. So we have just the market was moving. Things were great. And we had a lot of fun yesterday with the shorts stepping in. I pointed out right here, we should see a reaction, but not a major sell-off. So it was a really nice little short to come in. And today we went down first, or in the evening to go back up. So kind of exciting times. Looks like we lost Tom. I think we lost Tom. Yep, looks like we lost Tom. Did I lose myself as well? I guess you guys didn't lose. I guess you didn't lose me though. Alrighty. Good times. Here we go. If you guys can hit the like and subscribe button, that would be great. Hit that little thumbs up button. Make a comment in the section down if you're on Facebook. Say what's up. Yeah. If you could always hit that share button, that always helps us out tremendously. But overall, let's go ahead and go into the markets and see what we are seeing today. Ooh, looks like we got Tom coming back in.
Yeah, sorry, I went over to the studio to try and fix things up over there, and it blanked out my camera.
It happens, you know. Good old camera wiping. It's like we're CIA or something. That's funny. What are we going into? Oh yes. All right. Let's check out some cool stuff. Now let's Tom. You there, buddy?
I'm going around a lake right now, and it's traditionally bad coverage here. I'm here.
Alrighty.
I'm here.
Well, Thomas is here. Everybody say shout out to Thomas. He'll be here all day. And good time. Oh yeah.
Check, check, check. 1, 2.
You know how you
check, check. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Yeah, I can hear you. You can hear me. I can hear you. Can you hear me? Tom.
Pedro, I seem to be back here.
Okay, so you can hear me?
Oh, amazing. I started the show, and I even see the cell tower ahead of me here.
We lost Tom again. Alrighty. Well, let's go ahead and go into the market here real quick, and we will go over some of the stuff I've been looking at and kind of see how it is. Give me 1 second. Let me make sure I have the correct chart here. Okay. All right. And is this going to be cool? You know the old movie Pulp Fiction. Remember that part when Samuel L. Jackson was all, "Be cool, honey, buddy." Be cool, honey bunny. Remember that part? Yeah, it's one of my favorite parts in the movie. The reason why, I think what I find so funny about it is that you have Samuel L. Jackson. That was so hard to say. I don't even know why it was so hard to say. But you have Samuel L. Jackson, which is probably regarded as one of the most coolest guys in the industry, literally screaming, "Be cool, honey bunny."
From Trade and Crypto. Okay, there we go.
Yay. Are we back in? Do we have Thomas?
Yep. I'm here, even though I could see the cell phone tower right in front of me. I was not getting any signal there. Anyway, Pedro, you got me there with a decent voice there?
I do.
And just to, before I close out again here, the thumbnail for the show today was in the description. Well, the thumbnail was a market update. The description was Bitcoin wrecks the long again. I looked at the chart, and yesterday, at the end, there was a massive pump.
Yes,
just
sir.
Pumped up Bitcoin. Everyone was like, bull runs on, bull runs on, bull runs on. And earlier, you taught me something about bounces and stuff. And I said, I hope when this thing went back down low, we didn't just see a dead cat bounce, that the bounce up was actually start of an upward trend. That was the monthly low. But then today, starting this morning, overnight in London or Asia, whatever, the sell-off started, and that entire pump from yesterday, from like, what did it get up to yesterday, 115, sold all the way back down as if it never happened.
Well,
and
I don't want to.
And the liquidations were massive. No, go ahead.
So remember, we talked about yesterday, and I mean, we can use this for the cut. Me jumping in and interrupting you, and this is really important. We talked about that 1 and 2 hour period here coming up into that 400 period and 200 period moving average crossover. And I also talked about these higher time frame SMAs. We had the 20, we had the 100, we had the 50, and we had this area here. And I said, I don't think that these are going to act as a major sell-off here, but I think we will react to them. And so I words were lost with me to describe the reaction, but I knew we were going to have stuff. And I remember circling saying, we should have a reaction, expect a pullback down into these lower levels here. When will it happen? I thought maybe it would happen today as market was going up, then come down and pull back to that area. But it actually hit that yesterday. And we actually had that almost immediately after we were talking after the show on Technical Tuesday. So that's why I was saying that in this level here, because you had all these moving averages, we would have a reaction. But I don't think that we're going to see a reaction. I don't think we're going to see a sell-off. Because the reality is, as I was talking about, as we were pushing up into it, we were putting demand zones down back here at these levels here. So for me, I'm sitting there going, well, they're putting demand, they're buying as we're moving up. We're not really seeing a lot of seller wicks, as you can see here. There's not a ton of seller wicks. So I knew we would have some type of liquidity here. I drew in a new liquidity right here on the day where I pointed this out here, saying we've got some liquidity right here, and additionally to that liquidity up in here. So I don't know where they're going to pull it. Are they going to just absorb all these and push it up to this higher level and then sell off, or were we going to see a sell off of these levels here? So it's one of those moments that I just was kind of at loss for words, because when you have that many moving averages sitting right there and they're daily moving averages, this is just one of those things that you just don't necessarily know exactly how it's going to play out, but you have a general idea of it basically selling off of those higher time frame SMAs. And so, but again, I don't think that this is a sign of a major sell off or as a major negative point here. Literally just simply because I feel like as if they brought it down first into the evening. So into the evening, they drop it and put what in? They put in the demand wick.
Oh, I can see those. Yeah, remember, I'm driving. I can't really see the screen.
So look, you can see we're coming in, and this is over after the sell-off. Now look, as we're coming in, it's not like they were going up first and then coming down, and then you would see a big massive seller wick, and then see up again and then go down, right? Where you see another massive seller wick. No, they were doing the opposite. As you can see here on the hour, we were literally setting up in a way where it's like, boom, buyer wick, buyer wick, buyer wick, buyer wick, buyer wicks, right? We're watching them actually put in, this is live demand. This is literally one of those things that I look at and I go, okay, as we're selling off, and I preach this all the time to our viewers, right? If we're seeing a sell-off, but we're not seeing top wicks where they're pushing price up first to go down, where that means that we are in a ask bid environment, which means they want to push the market down. Asking means they want to sell then buy, sell then buy. The environment, when you see demand wick, which is the bottom wick, it means that they are in a bid ask. They're in a buy then sell, buy then sell, buy then sell. And you can see how that would progress. And so this is what I want to see. If we're selling off on the market, that's what I want to see. Going, are we going to go back up? And you can see there's hard, except for this one right here, there is really no demand wick on any of these candles, except we kind of get here, but then they get traded through, right? And then boom, the next one we have is right here. And we're seeing a bit of a, but this is the other part, is as we come into that area, it doesn't really do anything here. Let me pull that up here real quick.
Yes, yesterday, was there any news that drove that big pump? I mean, that was a big 1 hour up. Are you on the 1 hour chart there?
Yes, this is the 1 hour. Yeah.
That was a big move in the 1 hour, or in 2 hours.
Well,
I don't recall any good numbers. You know, the government's still on strike or closed or whatever. I mean,
they did release the CPI number, but it was a joke, honestly. I mean, it was. I heard a guy yesterday talking on a space. He was mentioning a bunch of stuff that I'm still kind of looking up. I can't. He's almost setting up a scenario where it's almost like Jekyll Island, and whereas Trump is trying to basically take over the whole entire system and remove anybody who's a debt to the system. And part of me is, so I was like, well, that could be. So I entertained the thought. You know me, I'm always going to entertain a thought and walk it through its fruition. But I can't find any anything online that's saying what he's saying. I can't find anything that's legit. And so it could just literally be people. The reason I'm saying that is that's just speculating, hypotheses. And maybe somebody just was like, we're coming up to those demand zone or the supply zones with all the dynamic moving average supply. And so maybe they just sold off on it. I mean, that is common because, like I said, these are institutional plays. So if the algorithm is set to where if price comes and touches the 50-period moving average around the 100-day period moving average, and these are daily, it is set, it basically tells the algorithm sell off on it. If price is coming up to it, that's when it says, all right, let me sell. If price is coming down to it, it says to buy on those levels. And so it just could have been just simply taking off their positions for the sell that they got right here, right? Knowing that there was going to be a ton of sellers, so they were buying back their position, right? And push the market down. So I don't know the fullness there, but I mean, I didn't really see any news in regards to, I mean, if anything, I mean, CZ says Binance is better than gold. I'm trying to think else. Amazon plans to release 600,000 U.S. workers with robots. Plans to, excuse me, replace them. You know, that's going to be crazy.
Yeah, their warehouse operations are already halfway.
There.
I mean, they're using a lot of robots as it is to get to that final stage where the warehouses are mostly robots.
Yeah, there's only 3 or 4.
Is an easy reach. You know what? You just mentioned CZ and Binance. To back it up, one news story. Robinhood announced today that they are finally accepting BNB. So for all those people over the years that have mistakenly sent BNB to Robinhood because they give you a BNB/EVM address to do it, you will all of a sudden get that back. You know how I know this, Pedro? Because I mistakenly sent Solana. Not Solana. I mistakenly sent USDT. No, yeah, I'm sorry, Solana to Robinhood, and they never supported Solana. And I meant to send USDT on the Solana network, but they supported the Solana network, but not the Solana token itself. It's very strange. Anyway, all of a sudden one day I noticed in my Robinhood account I had $300. And I was like, well, that's weird. I'm pretty sure I only had about $2 in it. And it turns out it said your Solana, you have $250 Solanas in there. And I was like, what? And I realized, I went back and I even saw in the customer service thing saying that they couldn't recover it. But then all of a sudden they magically turned on support for Solana 2 years later, and presto magico, it showed up in my wallet. So I'm sure people have sent BNB accidentally to Robinhood, and all of that stuff is just going to magically show up in their wallet.
Imagine you send it when it was like at $200, $100, and you sent maybe like $500-600, and then you look at it and you're like, wait, what? Do I have $5,000 there?
Yep, you do.
That's going to make Robinhood honestly kind of wealthy, because there's been a lot of money that's been sent accidentally.
Sure.
So I can only imagine that's going to put in, I bet you what happened was some intern literally was going through everything and was sitting there going, holy crap, look at all this money we have sitting here in all these wallets. That's a lot of money. And and then all of a sudden he shows his supervisor, and his supervisor is like, hey, by the way, you're fired. Sorry. And then he goes to his manager and goes, look what I found. That's the way it works in corporate America, man, unfortunately. Right? So we have to let you go. Why? I just helped out. That's against policy, as you can see.
Right. You violated the rules of privacy by telling me about this.
You gotta let him go. But then he himself goes and takes it to the superiors and goes, hey, check this out. They're like, you're a genius. We're
2 days later, Robinhood announces we're supporting BNB finally.
That is exactly what's up. It's never good to be the the person who brings the bad news to the king, right? Because he's the one who's always murdered. Nobody wants to be the bearer of bad news.
Now back to the No Kings protest that was going on in the United States, and even there were people in Canada protesting it. Canada.
So Tom, you're Tom, you're straight up like glitching. No, it's okay. Tom will leave and come back in a minute. He is having some fun over here, wherever he's at. Also, I'm noticed that we are not live on Rumble, unfortunately. So just also giving you a heads up there. We are now live. Here we go, hopefully. There we are. All right. There we are now. Excellent. Okay. Well, we are now, so we're good. It's okay. I just saw it populate. So Boom. Already then. So it was really interesting in regards to Bitcoin in this pump, because people like I was excited. I mean, legitly excited when we went down last night. So I was like, ooh, yes, they really are going for this move. And so for myself, I'm sitting there going like, this is game on. And and I heard everybody saying, oh no, we're going down. And I'm like, no, going down is good. Like going down first, that means by the end of the day, we will be going up. And so that's, for me, it's just one of those things. I'm like, okay, cool. It's it's a nice little play for myself. And especially look at what I just told all our viewers, as we're going down, if you see us literally putting in demand wicks as we're going down, that is a clear sign that we will go up. Like it's just, it's I mean, you could go back and look at every time you had a sell-off, right, in the past. Like here, look, you can see here, now that we're midway, we start to put in seller wicks. We come down. And then as we're coming down on this hour, we put a big demand wick right here. You can see demand wick equal. But you can see here, as we're pushing up about right here, you can sit there and say, oh, they're looking to drop it here. This here would have been hard to gauge. So they sell off, but they put in demand wick, some seller wicks, but then they put more demand wicks in. So you can see that they're more buying than selling here, even though you can see on a lot of these that we're selling off. Same thing here, coming down, demand wick. You know, about probably by the end of the day, I'm assuming we'll probably be back up at these levels here, where we were sitting up at that 112, 114 area. Oh, looks like Tom is still indisposed. Let's check out XRP here. XRP was one of those ones we went over yesterday. Oh, there we go. XRP here. You can see, as I was talking about that, you can see that we're putting a lot of those demand wicks in on these hour time frames. So this is one of those ones that I'm like, it's probably going to end up being up here around that 250 area, 254 area, even though we're sitting around that 239 area. So for XRP, we're probably going to be tapping again where those moving average are sitting at those higher time frames, which was the daily 8 here, or the daily 20 here. We're finding support on that daily 8. So I mean, it's looking very bullish for me here. We're looking like it's going to go up, down, up week here versus just an up, down week. This would be an up, down, up week, just simply because of where we're sitting in more of the meta narrative on the market. So it's actually pretty cool. Pretty cool that I'm looking. Forgive me, I'm going to grab some water here. So I'm going to be silent for just a moment. Forgive me for being super quiet for a second. My throat is just feeling a little dry, and so I just need a little water, so forgive me. There we go. There we go. There we go. So let's go ahead and go into some other parts here. You can see here that Doge. Let's check out Doge here. Doge here is another one we were talking about. You can see all the demand wicks coming in, right? And then you can see here, even though we're still coming down here, they're establishing their buys here, really at that like 18, 17, all the way up to that 19. So it's really interesting to see what's actually happening there. Also, for news sake, it was really interesting. Yesterday, the Federal Reserve looks into payment accounts that would grant crypto and fintech companies access to Fed payment rails. That has only been given to banks. And so I think what's so interesting is that they're granting it to fintech companies. I mean, I'm assuming they're going to be giving that to, like, let's say Binance, Binance USA, Coinbase, potentially even crypto.com, just simply because of the connection between the Trump family and Crow. So I that is interesting. I saw that like yesterday and I said, man, that is crazy. In additionally to that, the intermingling of potential, stable coins and the Fed. I mean, it'd be funny if the Fed started buying stable coins so that they could get in on some of that staking income. I think that would be hilarious if we actually saw that. Also, Tether CEO Paolo, I always mess his name up. Paolo, um, basically says that USDT has reached 500 million users. I thought that was a really big idea. I mean, the fact is that they have about $300 billion literally sitting with the treasury now is crazy. I mean, think about it like this. 8 years ago, they were sitting at a couple billion. I mean, and now they're up literally to about 300 billion. This is where me and Tom were talking about yesterday and just in previous times, just the idea of stablecoins actually going through and really establishing a foothold and kind of exporting the US debt around the world and circumventing the Federal Reserve. So that's going to be really interesting to see what happens there. There we go.
I believe I've returned, my friend.
Oh, there you are. How you doing? It's good to see you. Alrighty then. So I was just talking about how the Fed has basically given, or I'll just read the article. I won't read the article, but I'll go through and just read the headline. Federal Reserve looks into payment accounts that would grant crypto and fintech companies access to Fed payment rails. And you and I both know that's only given really to like major banks. So the fact is that they're willing to give that to crypto fintech companies, and I'm assuming like exchanges that would need it, right? Like too big to fail exchanges in case there's another liquidity run on the actual market. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens there.
Well, remember the Fed started some new quick payment rails. I don't know, last year or 2 years ago, Fed Watch or Fed Wire or Fed Now or something, whatever it's called, in which banks can do two things. They can move money around quickly, or the government can borrow money quickly from banks. It works, it's bi-directional. And that's different from the master account with the Fed. Remember Custodia's famous argument with the Fed was that they wouldn't give her a master account, which allows you to borrow at low interest rates from the government and act like as a member bank. And that's a different topic than the rails, issue payment rails, but it's still kind of the same thing. And we saw last week, I believe it was, or 2 weeks ago, Brad Garlinghouse of XRP absolutely complaining about, hey, why can't we be treated as, like the other companies? Why can't we get any account? Why can't we do that? And, I've not been a big fan of Ripple, and they're quite the big company with lots of money right now. That's for sure. They just bought somebody for $1 billion, which I'm sure they just got for free from the recent pump up in the XRP. But in my opinion, Ripple is not a real company like a bank or like a true financial institution. They're a company that's selling products. They're maybe they.
Looks like we lost Tom again, guys. He will be back here in just a minute. He'll probably step out and come back. Just give him a second. Tom, you're breaking up pretty bad. Ooh, it's bad. He'll come back in just a second, guys. But speaking of even the sell-off in Shiba Inu, we can see here that over the last 4 or 5 hours, they've been putting in a bunch of demand wicks. And so I'm basically expecting them to kind of push it back up here again. And we will see. There you are, Tom.
Not kidding you.
Hey, man, you are literally driving. Now you are. Oh, you're getting the dog. Oh, alrighty then. Well, you can see her. It's getting heads up. Alrighty. Speaking of CZ again, basically, I already said that he says that he thinks that Bitcoin will flip gold market cap. I don't know exactly when. Might take some time, but it will happen. Save the tweet, which I thought was really interesting. Also, Trump is going to be going to China in early 2026 after being invited by Xi Jinping, which I thought was really kind of, no offense, but I don't want to see President Trump going into China. I don't think that's a safe play for him.
You're right, Pedro. I think he should make the Chinese president come to the U.S.
Or make a neutral place. I mean, this time is we're in a precarious time in history where there is a potential. I mean, if you kill the U.S. president, it would throw things off. We'd have to go.
There's an algorithm killer.
Oh, you're right. That was. Oh, good. I can't believe I said that. Well, we didn't really have a lot of people watching us in the first place, so I mean, they're going to take us from 2 to 1. So I mean, that's.
No, I meant for the behind-the-scenes reporting and stuff. No, but Pedro, this safety is not an issue. I mean, that's not. I mean, the president travels overseas with an aircraft carrier strike force, and so I mean, it would be stupid. I mean, they'll take the fleet out of Pearl Harbor and they'll go over, sit off the coast of Taiwan while he visits there. That's not an issue. But still, from a political point, that scores, major support within China for the Chinese president to say, I got the president of the United States to come over here and genuflect to us because he came over here because he had to make a deal and, that type of stuff. And really they should meet, in Paris or in some neutral place where people meet all the time.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to stop and get some, I got to stop and get some fuel here. So, I'll be off, but I'll be listening.
Well, we really kind of went over the show and everything like that. We don't got a lot of people watching here today. So we went over Bitcoin. Let's go over Bitcoin here one more time and then we can close it up for the day.
Oh, all right. That works.
Yeah, we've been on for about an hour here, which is good for the algorithm. And it's just, showing up every day. Here we go here real quick. Let's check out BTC. All right, so BTC is basically looking to me fairly strong with the idea that we're already putting in demand wicks as we're coming in. We're seeing the seller volume, which is sitting right here, just die off here. So I'm expecting us to see the market kind of push up here as we keep moving forward. And once they put in their buy orders here enough, you can see that we literally have a triangle here, right? And so when it finally breaks out of this, whether it goes down, they stop everybody else out and then they push it out, which is more like what they'll do. Because this type of movement here is typically one of those moves that it wants to go up. I think, you can see how the market's going up right here. Boom, they broke, right? And then now they're consolidating. And so from there, they would like to break it by going down and then go back up. The reason why they go down here is literally because everybody's assuming that it's going to break down. The traditional move is after a sell-off, consolidation, and the continue of the move through a consolidation period. But they know that, and so they will play the opposite play there, and they'll take everybody sells into their buys and then push it up. So that's kind of like what I'm expecting there. But overall, guys, thank you so much for coming in today. I just want to give a quick little recap for Bitcoin. And then where do I expect it to go to? I expect it to go next to that 1010, 112, the previous highs up here, and then pull back again and then go back up to look something like this. Boom. Boom, 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 boom. Like that. Something of that nature. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate you. Tom, thanks for being here today, regardless of the...
it's the first time I pumped gas while live streaming.
Yes. Well, thank you guys again for coming in. Tom, any last words?
All right, everybody. Thanks. Nope. John was going to say thanks for joining us, everybody. As always, Pedro, thank you for your effort today in interpreting the markets and giving our viewers the good stuff. And we'll see you, everybody, tomorrow. Pedro, it's going to take me a second to turn off the live stream here. So hang out just for a second or two. But to everybody that did watch either live or watch on the replay, thank you very much. And we'll see you again on the flip side.
On the flip side.
1 second here.